Guest House Theater. Welcome to today's live Facebook event. Today what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be reading a brand new monologue called You're Working the Checkout at Trader Joe's. It's by a playwright named Christian St. Croix, who's based out of San Diego. It's a short monologue. It's a series of second-person vignettes told by a grocery store clerk. I found it when I was on the new Play Exchange, looking for monologues for some things we have planned in the future, and I just loved it. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was touching. It was funny. It's a monologue Christian wrote during the pandemic, and it's influenced by the pandemic. So it's about 10 minutes long. So bear with me. Just a little bit about Christian. The playwright Christian St. Croix. He's an award-winning playwright and creative director of Boy and Monster, which is a theater collective that produces plays about the Black LGBT experience. He's currently based in San Diego. I found this, and he has several other works on New Play Exchange, so I would go check him out. If you don't know what New Play Exchange is, it's a website where playwrights can upload their work and promote it themselves. It's also a great place for directors and producers to go and find, artistic directors to go and find new work. Guest House Theater's co-founder and my spouse, Karen Sari, has a lot of her plays up there. So I highly encourage you to check them out. So today, this reading, obviously I'm doing it from my home office. Very minimal staging, in fact, no staging. So we're going to try and do as much justice as we can to it as we do in these kind of home performance Zoom spaces. I guess this isn't Zoom, this is Facebook Live. But just a note, the monologues originally was titled You're Working the Checkout at Albertsons, which is a West Coast chain of grocery stores. But Christian allows anyone reading or performing the monologue to change it to a more local grocery store. So I've changed it to Trader Joe's. Guest House Theater is well supported by Trader Joe's locally. Our own general manager, Whitney Darringdinger, works there, as well as some other friends and supporters. Hi, Tanis and Carl. I think before I do this, I think it's important. One of the important things I found about this monologue is that it is read by a grocery store clerk. And as we've worked through this kind of the last 6 months in the pandemic, it's become increasingly clear how important that job is. But one of the things this touches on a lot is the disconnect, the kind of artificial but necessary disconnect we've had from other people during this. And it was one of the things that drew me to it. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. So performing for you today, me, You're Working the Checkout at Trader Joe's. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and the woman you just rung up is 23 cents short for a bag of King Hawaiian sweet rolls and a 4-pack of toilet paper. And you wonder if she's only buying the rolls because she needs the toilet paper. An insane amount of people are embarrassed to buy toilet paper like by itself, so they couple it with something else. Your mother is one of those people. You tell the woman it's no problem, and you let her leave without fuss. Your till will be 23 cents short today. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when the hot guy who used to wait tables at the sushi restaurant across the street comes in for an Arizona iced tea and a pack of juicy fruit. He's telling you his unemployment check hasn't come in, and he has until the 3rd to pay rent. He sounds crazy worried, and you want to hold his hand, but you can't. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when the aliens attack. But they're like the size of hamsters, and their offense is spotty at best, so it really doesn't go anywhere. Most of them abandon the mission and scurry off to hide in the sewers. You track one while it's raiding the cereal aisle, and you give it to Marco, the security guard, as a birthday gift, and he names it Dudley Dursley. At first, Dudley Dursley is really pissed about being named Dudley Dursley. But Patrice starts giving Marco banana bread to feed it, and it naps all day in the chest pocket on his uniform. You think it's starting to come around. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and you just want to be touched. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and you're going to need to see some ID for that beer. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when the ghost of Elmer Grady stops by your register and asks if you've seen his wife. She's been where she's been for the last 47 years, Mr. Grady, over in produce. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you tell a customer how you discovered a birthmark on your foot that hadn't been there before. You say it's in the shape of California, like the state of California, like how it appears on a map. But you showed it to Marco and he saw Idaho. You asked the customer if she'd like to see it. She would not. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and life is a dreamless void. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you wonder what Patrice over in... You know what? I'm just gonna... It's California, right? You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you wonder what Patrice over in the bakery is doing right now. And sometimes she shares irregularly shaped cupcakes that don't pass the quality check with you. She wanted to open her own bakery once upon a time, but she put her husband's dreams before. She says, I still have that dream though. Keep it right here in my pocket, baby. You don't have very many wishes left, but you wouldn't mind giving one to Patrice. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you don't trust those dividers. You don't trust those dividers at all. They lay there looking all innocent, but they're definitely up to something. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you just want to be touched. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when you realize you've seen this exact moment in a dream you had the night before. In 2 seconds, the woman at the end of your line is going to drop the bottle of Barefoot Chardonnay she's holding loosely. It'll shatter and Barefoot Chardonnay will splatter all over the legs of the man in front of her. Her husband, the man standing next to her, he'll say, "Really, Janice? Really?" You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and a customer is buying his weight in boxes of Capri Sun and bags of string cheese. His daughter is standing at his side. She looks about 5 or 6, and she's wearing a cheap plastic Darth Vader Halloween mask. And she waves at you. We tried to get her into Frozen, says her father. You wave back at your new hero. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when the hot girl who used to work the register at the cereal bar across the street comes in for a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke. She's telling you her grandfather's in the hospital and she doesn't know if she'll ever see him again. She looks so sad. You want to hold her hand, but you can't. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when they come in from their lunch break. The cool kids from the meat department. They never use their employee discount. What I wouldn't give. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you look over at the next register and there's another clerk that looks just like you working the checkout at Trader Joe's. And there's another beyond him and another and another. And it goes on forever. Clones and copies of yourself wishing and waiting and working the checkout at Trader Joe's. You wonder if they all had birthmarks that weren't there before. You wonder if they all want to be touched. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and some haircut is screeching at you from the top of her lungs, demanding you honor her coupons! They're expired, but she insists she got them in the mail yesterday. She's demeaning you now, frothing at the mouth, telling you and everyone within earshot that you'd have a better job if you weren't an idiot. She's holding up your line, demanding to speak to the manager, and bliss has a color and a shape, and it's sincere, and it rubs knots out of your shoulders, and touches its tiny nose to your cheeks, and promises you sidewalks soft as jello and rain that tastes like grape juice. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and you just want to be touched. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's and bringing up bottles of Windex for the Red Wizard of the Five Realms. He offers you a quest to travel to the Five Realms via the portal in the frozen food aisle and retrieve the Jade Stone from the Dragon of Bennigan's Keep. If you choose to accept the quest, turn to page 36. If you decline the quest, turn to page 15. You decline the quest, and you hand the wizard his receipt. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and hey, when's the last time you had a nice cold glass of chocolate milk? Huh? Go on in the kitchen. Go on, I'll wait. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and she's in the produce aisle, Mr. Grady. Myrtle, your husband's looking for you. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when you accidentally slip into a parallel universe. Everyone has human bodies but the heads of tabby cats. You note that your boss Holly's tabby head has a mackerel pattern which serves her right, because Holly's a bit of a racist. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's when you burst into tears. The elderly woman whose bottle of orange juice you were about to ring up goes to touch you, but stops at the last moment. You don't know whether she's ashamed that she could have given you comfort and did it, or horrified that she made the move in the first place. But she holds your hands one over the other against her chest and begins to cry with you. You want to hug her, and she wants to hug you. You need to hold her, and she needs to hold you. But neither of you can. Both of your hearts are breaking, and you just want to be touched. You're working the checkout at Trader Joe's, and you can't see it from where you are, but far above you, there's a sun burning so hot and so bright. She can't touch you now, but you just wait. Just wait. The end. Thanks everybody for joining me today for that. I really think it's a lovely piece. I think it really touches on things we've all been experiencing with this disconnect we've had. I also think it's important that it's about grocery store workers. I think none of us realized how important those people were. And so if you're in a grocery store today, just try and be extra kind. Say thank you. Don't say thank you for your service, which seems kind of silly, but just say thank you. And join us this Saturday at 11 a.m. when we'll have another Facebook Live event. Also, if you feel so inclined, I will include the link in the comments below to make a donation to Guest House Theater. We would appreciate if you would make a donation if you can. It helps us keep going as we weather this current time and get ready to actually produce theater sometime in the near future, we hope. Have a great day. Thanks a lot. Bye.